Welcome to Dreamed It, Then Real Lifed It, the podcast where we dive deep into the journey from vision to reality. I'm Kelly Jackson, your guide on this path of self-discovery, transformation, and intentional living. Here, we explore everything from mindset shifts and personal growth to spiritual alignment and entrepreneurship, sharing insights, stories, and actionable wisdom to help you live a life in harmony with your dreams. Every episode will dig into what it means to not only dream big, but to actually consciously create the life you envision. Let's turn your dreams into real life. Story time. It was a hot, humid day in Southern Louisiana. I was walking along the bayou in the woods, and I felt something on the back of my thigh, and I just took my hand, I just felt a little something, and I just took my hand and kind of brushed the back of my thigh. I wasn't sure what it was, and right after I did that, I kind of heard and saw something, and I looked down, and it was this big horsefly, and it had landed on the front of my thigh. And then I was like, oh, and I kind of paused, and then there was another one that came and kind of was right there too. And I was like, okay, I'm not a swatter at bugs. I don't swat at them. And also, I wasn't trying to make them angry. I didn't want to start swatting. So I paused, and then I was kind of like, okay, guys, get off me. And when that didn't work, and then another one landed on me, my instinct was run. Run as fast as you can. I felt the adrenaline. I felt the panic. I was physically sprinting as fast as I could. And I sprinted like a ways. And this is, I was barefoot, which I usually am. And this is through the woods. This is like Tarzan sprinting. But it was fine. I mean, I was doing it, running as fast as I could. And I stopped after a little while and was like, okay, like thinking that did it. And then no, they were like still there. I was like, what is even going on? What is even going on? And I felt myself panicking. And again, and I was like, all right, I'm trying to speak to these insects saying, leave me alone, go away. And I'm not wanting to swat. I'm kind of frozen there, asking nicely, please leave me alone. And it's not working. And so again, instinct, run even faster. So I'm running as fast as I can. Guys, I must have tried at least 5 different times to outrun these things. Only later to discover, when I got in my vehicle, I went into the search engine and I was like, hey, Google, how fast can horseflies fly? And I quote, top speed recorded at 90 miles per hour, as noted in studies from Florida or the University of Florida. Verification. Researchers confirmed this speed by observing a male horsefly catch a pellet fired from an air rifle. Fastest insect. This makes them one of, if not the, fastest flying insects, surpassing typical insect speeds. Agility. Okay, I'm going to tell you why this is funny. Okay, first, so not only was I running, at one point in my 5 attempts, I was like, I need to do like some football drills. I need to like trick them. And I was like trying to change directions and stuff. Okay. I really did do that. Now, are you ready? Agility. They are capable of complex aerial maneuvers similar to fighter jets. These insects are particularly active and fast on warm, sunny days, which it was. Okay. Horseflies can fly up to 90 miles an hour. I was trying to solve the problem with a strategy that was fundamentally incapable of working. I wasn't failing because I wasn't trying hard enough. Because, guys, oh, if you could have seen me run, okay? I was using a method that could never produce the outcome that I wanted. And that is the human condition. Some things in life cannot be outrun no matter how hard you try. And this is not because you are weak or that you're lazy, or not because you lack discipline. It's because speed was never the solution. Because, guys, I'm going to tell you what, I was running full speed. I was giving genuine effort. And I was trying over and over. I was speaking to them. I was freezing. I was willing them away. And then I was giving them my best obstacle course getaway run. I was physically exerting myself. I was like thinking, if I just move faster, if I just do this little fake out move and go the opposite way, I'll get away. Again, only later to discover they can fly 90 miles an hour like a fighter jet. Which means I was never even close. And I was exhausting myself trying to escape something that speed was never gonna solve. Naturally, and guys, this happened a while ago. I want to say something and then I'm going to keep talking about the horsefly experience. But I have this ongoing notes app, podcast ideas, right? And it's just whenever something comes up that I'm like, oh, that's something I want to talk about on the podcast. That would make a good episode. Yes, it just inspires me in some way. This happened last summer. This happened like a year ago. And it's been there for a while. This, for whatever reason, now feels like the aligned time to share this story. And it's fun to go and read some of my ideas and just see which one is speaking right now, which is aligned with the collective, which fits this time of year. It's one of the things I do enjoy doing about podcasting. I like laying it all out and going into the archive of ideas and deciding, hey, that's one I want to sit down with today. So back into this, ways that this human pattern, okay, the way that we do this with life, we can overwork to outrun feelings of inadequacy and stay constantly busy to avoid grief or loneliness. And we can overthink to try to outrun uncertainty, jumping from relationship to relationship, numbing. And guys, we can do that through scrolling, through food, through substances, through noise, etc., etc. Perfectionism to outrun shame. You know that shame is the lowest vibration there is. So go back to that good old mantra, shame off me. Shame off me. That's a good one. So I was giving you some examples there, and I want to say that a lot of us are running in ways that look productive, but we're actually, it's like avoidance. So here's the mirror. I'm holding it up. You can see if, hey, wait a second, I might be doing that. Because avoidance creates the illusion of movement. But movement is not the same thing as resolution. Okay? And here's the thing. Going back to that little notes app I was talking about. I wrote on there the day the horseflies caught me. Horseflies are not the point. The point is how long humans will continue using ineffective strategies simply because they feel active. Because effort feels productive. Running feels like action. Busyness feels like progress. But movement and effectiveness are not the same thing. It's not always the same thing, okay? And look, modern culture rewards running. Think about hustle culture, the constant stimulation. Have you ever, where did I go the other day? We walked in, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm overstimulated right now. Oh, it was Chloe and I. You guys know Chloe. If you don't know Chloe, check out episode 77, the beginning of the apprenticeship. Chloe is currently doing a 12-week creative media apprenticeship with me. And we have a 24 episode docuseries called The Podcast Apprenticeship. You can see that on Instagram at Dreamed It Then Real Lifed It, and check out the podcast episode 77. You can find out more. So Chloe and I were having a meeting the other day, and we were at this restaurant downtown, and a little cafe type situation, and it was funny because they had the music up really loud, and there was just all these different things that were happening, and we were talking about flow state. That's what we were working on. And it was funny because I think we both had this moment of realization when we were trying to switch in from brainstorming mode into writing copy mode. And we both sat there for a little bit and we're like, and we looked at each other. I'm like, I feel very overstimulated right now. And she's like, no, same, I get it. Because there was just so much different stuff going on everywhere, like from every direction. And that constant stimulation, it can be a lot. That just happened to be that way. But a lot of places, you think about these places where that's almost what the point is. Like, have you ever gone into a establishment that has a whole wall of like TV screens and things like that all happening? Glorifying busyness. You've heard me say that before. I used to wear busy like a badge of honor. Yeah, that's glorifying busyness. And also having this productivity obsession. And this reminds me of a story I want to share. So my 14-year-old, one day I take them to school in the morning. We're on the way to school. And she says what seems to me out of the blue, but she says, Mom, thank you for letting us take, or she might not have said us, she might have said me, thank you for letting me take naps. And I was like, you're welcome. And because I'm kind of laughing because I'm like, where is this coming from? And she just kind of reflects and says that there's a boy at her school whose dad or parents or whatever the situation was doesn't allow them to take naps. And they have this idea that you're wasting time if you take a nap, that you have to be, if you're awake for these hours, and during those hours you are productive, you are doing things, and then you go to bed. And Addie was grateful that that wasn't my belief system, and that because she listens to her body. And one of the ways that she reduces stress is by taking a nap, and it resets her nervous system. I make birthday boards for my girls, or not birthday boards, first day of school boards. I've done it since they were younger because I used to do it professionally for other people. So I've done it for my girls every year of school, and I'll ask them questions. And one of the questions is, what do you do to relax? And that's one of the things that she typically puts on there is take a nap. That's what she likes to do. And she listens to her body, and when her body wants a nap, she takes a nap. All that to say, modern culture, there can be like this some may have this other mindset that a nap is a waste of time. While you're awake, you need to be being productive. And another thing would be speed being mistaken for success. And it reminds me of a quote. I don't know what you call this, guys, a quote, a meme, something that says, direction is more important than speed because a lot of people are going nowhere fast. I like that. Modern life rewards speed, fast responses, fast healing, fast results, fast growth. Reminder, though, that speed and freedom are not the same thing. Okay? And some people are not free. They are simply distracted. Know the difference. So I want to loop back around to the loop that I mentioned earlier. The 5 attempts. That's the wildest thing, is I kept trying the same thing over and over. Part of that was because I had, X amount of miles, or a mile, or however long that I had to walk to get back to the trailhead. So I kind of had to keep moving. And I don't know if part of that was just, if I felt like when I was running fast, they weren't biting me. And then I just kept stopping, thinking, surely that time that did it. And it never did it. But that's what was so wild, is that I kept trying over and over. And that's the loop. That's literally the loop. Trying the same method repeatedly. Harder. Faster. More intensely. Without realizing that the method itself is incapable of solving the problem. This can happen with working out. So I'm going to speak, because I am a woman, as a woman, to women. Because, our bodies are different with hormones and everything than a male body. So let me speak from this place. So you have a couple pounds that you want to lose that seem stubborn. And so you go hard. You do some hardcore cardio boot camp, hard hit in training, right? And you're amping up the workouts and you're doing all this stuff, and you're going harder, you're going faster, you're going more intensely. And you're not seeing the results that you thought or that you wanted, right? Which was to lose these couple pounds, maybe see a little more definition, the muscle and whatnot. And you're feeling stronger and you have more endurance. And so it's not like the workouts aren't working, but the body composition isn't doing what you thought. And this would be an example of maybe not realizing that the method itself is incapable of solving the problem, because in a situation like that, you need consistency over intensity, and your nervous system needs to feel safe, because feeling like you're going harder, faster, more intensely can actually have the reversed effect and create more cortisol, and you can end up perpetuating the cycle. Again, it's just understanding, being aware of, am I in a loop? And that is burnout culture, it's hustle culture, it's toxic positivity, it's emotional avoidance, it's dysfunctional relationships, nervous system looping, all of it. I'm going to give you some examples. Trying harder instead of differently. We've kind of said that, but I'm going to just say it in one sentence. I've given you examples, but trying harder instead of differently. Repeating emotional patterns. Pushing more instead of pausing. Staying in cycles because effort feels safer than honesty. Sometimes we repeat ineffective strategies simply because they feel active. And effort and effectiveness are not the same thing. Okay, this is a conversation for another day. I want to mention it here because it happened on the same day, the Horsefly day. So if minding your business was another person, it would have been this guy at the park, at the trail. So I had gotten almost to the trailhead, like close enough where there's like some picnic benches and whatnot nearby. And there's a gentleman that was sitting there, but I was hadn't made the curve yet. So I had not yet seen this gentleman. So I just was coming around. I had done my last little run and I had stopped, and they were really at this point, because we had run probably half a mile together, me and the horseflies, they were excited and they were like really flying around, and there were several of them, and I felt very anxious and overwhelmed at this point. Looking back, it's like, what's the worst that could have happened? I did get bit by one, but I think that made me fear multiple bites. And it just, I guess, whatever, that day I was feeling very activated. And so I'm still not wanting to swat them, and I'm not. So I'm standing there, I have my hands over my face, and I'm screaming really at the top of my lungs at this point. And I'm screaming, leave me alone. Stop. Please stop. Get off me. Please. Like, leave me alone. So I'm just like screaming all of this stuff. And then I decide to make one last little jolt out of this trail. And then as I'm kind of running out, there's this man. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm like yelling, get off me. Stop, please. Help. Like, get off me. And this person, again, if minding your business was a person, it was him. He's like, I'm not getting involved in whatever's going on over there. But then again, he may have also seen me sprinting at the top of my speed and then screaming with my hands over my face at nothing. And it could have looked like a fight club situation, like, like, what's going on with that woman? Because he might not have seen the horseflies from where he was. So it was just part of the situation. But let's talk about what actually changes things when you shift from running to awareness. Okay, real change might look like this. It might look like stopping and listening, grieving, honesty, boundaries, nervous system regulation, asking different questions, changing strategy instead of increasing force. Okay? Some things in life cannot be healed through speed. And you cannot outrun your nervous system, and you cannot outrun grief, and you cannot outrun truth. You cannot outrun yourself. Y'all have heard me say this, I'm sure. Self-Love Uni, my signature program. I want to invite anyone to check it out. I'll put a link in the show notes. And one of the things I like to say about why Self-Love Uni is important, because the relationship that you have with yourself is the most important relationship that you will ever have in your entire life. Because that relationship directly impacts and influences every other relationship in your life, every opportunity, every experience, every encounter, everything is influenced by the relationship that you have with yourself. The way that you speak to yourself matters. You are the only person in the entire universe that you will spend every second of every day with for your entire life. So the way that you speak to yourself matters. The way you think about yourself matters. The way you feel about yourself matters. Who you believe yourself to be matters. And we know that 95% of everything we do, say, and think comes from the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind will never outperform your self-image, who you believe yourself to be. That's why this identity work is so important. If you checked out last week's episode on Your Playlist is Programming You, it's about how important music is in our belief systems and who we believe ourselves to be. So, guys, I want to, you cannot outrun yourself. And your relationship with yourself is important. It matters. Check out Self-Love Uni. I'm going to put the link in the show notes. And also, I've got other opportunities, workshops, coaching, one-on-one, group, containers, downloads, prints, all kinds of things. Monthly rooms, like recurring virtual spaces that you can join. All kinds of things. I've got art letters, something that if you want actually something that I create for you each month and I put it in an envelope and then I mail it to you, I've got that too. You can check everything out. The links are in the show notes. I want to reflect just a minute on, maybe think of what your recent season has been. Has it been one of burnout, of constant output, of loops, of stepping back, of realizing more effort wasn't the answer? You know, I think a lot of my life lately has been about realizing where I've been running and where I'm finally willing to stop. That's why I imagine now felt like the right time to bring this one out the notes app and into the podcast queue. So some people spend years exhausting themselves trying to outrun things that were never meant to be escaped through speed. And eventually you realize the answer was never running faster. It was learning what actually works. Because effort alone does not guarantee freedom. And some things in life don't change until you stop running long enough to realize that you've been using the wrong strategy the entire time. All right. I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Check out the link in the show notes. There's just push a button, See where it takes you. We got moon letters, we got the Sunday spark, and then all that other good stuff. So check it out. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in to Dreamed It, Then Real Lifed It. I hope today's episode sparked something powerful within you. Remember, every step you take towards your vision counts, no matter how small. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please take a second to hit that subscribe button or leave a review. That would be amazing. Or share the podcast with someone who's ready to bring their dreams into reality too. And if you're looking to dive deeper, connect with me on social media at Dreamed It, Then Real Lifed It, or at BE_what you want. Or visit dreameditThenRealLifedIt.us for more resources on aligning your life, business, and dreams. Until next time, keep dreaming and keep manifesting your dreams into real life. Love you, friends.